Hello, hello, everybody. Sorry about the technicalities here, and welcome to Lesbian News Flash with a little bit of delay. We're absolutely delighted to interrupt your depressing Facebook feed with some exciting, fresh lesbian news. The aim of Lesbian News Flash is to bring you some lesbian visibility to the front and report on projects that lesbians are creating with a specific lesbian and feminist activist focus. So it's also about reporting on news that you would not necessarily find anywhere else on the patriarchal or straight social media. So we're going to keep the format fairly short, about 15 minutes, half an hour, and that allows us to be spontaneous and react to the news when they come. And also because we're fairly disorganized, as you can tell, and chaotic, and that's the way we organize. So here we go. We're not planning very much ahead, so stay tuned on the page if you want to hear some more about this. And also, if you have some lesbian news to share, if you are creating some exciting lesbian project, women-only project, we want to hear about you, we want to hear about it, please be in touch. So today, for our very first Lesbian News Flash, I'm super excited to welcome Skylar. Hello, can you hear me, Sky?
I can.
Yes, that's brilliant. And Skylar in the conversation. Skylar presents herself as a 61-year-old lesbian disabled grandmother of 4. And in her own words, the ride is an act of love for women and children. It's an act of love for my lesbian sisters that are being coerced to men within the TQ plus community who are like that. It's a cry out to Americans to stand up and speak. Together we can stop this insanity. Yes, I absolutely agree. So Sky, as we can see now, you're on the road.
Yeah, there's
this is
the bike.
real live, yes? Real live. So where are you? Where exactly are you? Where did you start your ride? Where are you going? Tell us about the trip. How is it going?
Okay, we've covered over 2,000 miles already.
Wow.
We went to Orlando, Jacksonville, and Atlanta, all three in 3 days. We literally hit Orlando, put it in our dust. Boom, went to Jacksonville, hit Jacksonville, put it in our dust, hit Atlanta, And we are going and we are protesting at the pediatric gender clinics because adults can make up their own minds. That's none of my business. But when you go after the kids, yeah, you get my attention.
Yes. So that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. What exactly are you doing when you go to these places? What is the aim of, like, do you target particular places? Do you have demos, protests? Do you speak to people in the street?
Well, we've been having some fun. We've been having some fun with it.
It looks like it, yeah.
I even climbed up on some barrels around the side of their building because they had natural medicine written across the side of their building that faces the street.
Wow.
And, I'm going to put my poster right underneath that. So I had to climb up on these big barrels, and Joy had to help me get off of the big barrels. But what we are doing is we have a poster campaign, and one of the posters is specific to the conversion therapy of gay and lesbian youth, which is giving them cancer drugs and sterilizing them.
Yep.
That's conversion therapy. They're trying to turn them into heterosexual people of the opposite sex. I've heard numerous parents say, I will never have a gay son. I will never have a lesbian for a daughter. And then they put them on these cancer drugs, wrong sex hormones, and just completely irreversibly destroyed them. The reason I got so upset is because I keep seeing young, butch, lesbian girls cutting off healthy body parts.
Yeah. I was going to ask you because it's really something that affects, we can see lesbians of older generation being particularly touched by this particular aspect of the transgenderism industry, that, we were gender non-conforming children, and there's a link, intergenerational link. And is that something like you feel this could have happened to you when you were young, if it had been around? Or?
Well, I only came out about 3 years ago when I was 58. I didn't know what was going on. I was like this new old baby lesbian with no clue. And so I went to who I thought would be able to help me, which was the LGBT pride, things like that.
Right.
And I even joined Dykes on Bikes because I'm a dyke on a damn bike. So what happened, though, was Dykes on Bikes decided to discuss flying no terse flags. And I didn't even know what a TERF was at that time.
Mm.
So I didn't pay any attention. But then I went to World Pride in New York City for 2 weeks. I had to go in a wheelchair. And it's a good thing I did, because I did not realize that what I was saying could possibly get me killed. I went to the Lesbian Her Story panel at the 2-day Human Rights Conference. They had one panel for lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to it thinking I would learn some her story. I wheeled that thing in the room, and there were 4 men on the panel, not one lesbian on the lesbian panel.
Yeah, typical, isn't it?
It was 3 gay men and a trans-identified dude. And here's the kicker. Halfway through, and when they tell you what they want, and when they tell you your plan, listen carefully. Halfway through, the trans ID guy says, I wait for the day, and he says it with this grandness, I wait for the day that everyone is either trans or gender fluid. That is the end goal, people.
Yes, absolutely.
They don't want us to be lesbians, bisexuals, or gay. They want us to be trans or gender fluid.
And I agree, they are very, very honest in we have to listen to what they say, because they are very honest in what they say.
Oh, yeah. We got to just listen carefully.
Yep.
They will tell you everything. And at the end of that, I said, I don't have a question, but I have a response to a comment. And I simply said, I am not trans. I am not gender fluid. I don't need to be either of those things. I'm a lesbian. It took me 58 flipping years to just get around that and figure it out. And Compet almost killed me. Literally, my first husband tried to kill me for 7 years. So when I come out at 58, just to be told that I'm still supposed to date men just because they wear heels and lipstick? Heck no. Who do they think they are? They're men. They're men. And I won't call them trans. I will not use the language. I do not believe there is such a thing as trans. They are simply people that are gender nonconforming to the sex stereotypes of their own sex. That is all any of them are.
Yep.
It's a lie. It's all a lie.
Absolutely.
And they're sterilizing a whole future. I mean, these kids, as we've been going to these clinics, and what we do is we leave our calling card on their door. We have a poster that says, be proud to be female. Yeah. Be proud to be gay.
Yes.
And at the bottom, you've seen those posters that we have.
Of course.
At the bottom, it talks about that it's conversion therapy, and stop, basically.
Absolutely.
But what we do is we stick that on their front door, right over their names. And I write on it, the ride was here.
Yeah.
We see you.
Excellent. And
a couple of my posters real low.
It's really striking. It's the contrary of pride. It's really the opposite of what pride, LGBTQ plus whatever pride should be about. It's really exactly the opposite. It's the massive reversal, what you're describing and what is happening.
Pride has become the most homophobic agenda I have ever seen. Homophobia, by any name, remains the same.
Yep.
We have the religious right that tells us we're immoral and gonna burn in hell. My sister's in that group. She loves me anyway, thankfully, but she thinks I'm gonna burn in hell, which upsets her, obviously. I'm sad for that, but I don't believe in her health, so I'm not concerned.
Hell is here. Hell is here. Sorry.
But the thing is, we've also got the religious left.
Yeah.
That are telling us that we are immoral for being lesbians. They actually have the audacity to do the same thing that the religious right did. I guess what I would want to put out to everyone to separate that damn acronym, separate the LGB, get it out of there, because they are using us. They're using us to gaslight the world. Absolutely. They're literally using LGBs to destroy LGB rights.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm going to call them out on it, and I will every damn day. Somebody asked me if this is the hill I was prepared to die on. And I remember Maya Forstater was asked that by her boss.
Yeah.
Right before she got canned.
Yes.
This is the hill you're prepared to die on. And she had an interview and she said, well, apparently, yes, it is. And I tell them, yes. Is it yours? Are you prepared to die on this hill? Because I won't die alone, people. I will take you with me. I mean, it's that,
Yeah.
They threaten us all the time. They threaten us with rape. I mean, I got banned from Facebook for a week for simply calling out that their guidelines allow men to threaten women with rape.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm on constant ban too. I know it's a joke. It's a joke. And here in the UK, if you just state the law, you get banned as well for stating the law as it is. It's completely like the gaslighting is off the scale. Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Oh, and just for the record, y'all are lucky. You got an Equality Act that actually tries to guarantee you sex-based rights.
Still, yes, we still have
in
that.
America, we managed to ratify the 28th Amendment. We ratified the one that said that we would have sex-based rights. And one man held the whole thing, handcuffed us all, the archivist. And he had told us back in 2012, yes, if you ratify it, I am legally obligated to enter it into the Constitution, and I will. And then in 2020, we ratify it, and he says, no, I'm not going to do it. So then we go to Biden, and he supports that guy instead of women's rights.
Of course.
So then we sued. We had 3 states that sued because they had ratified it. And so they said, hey, we ratified this. And they sued. They were told they didn't have damages, so they had no suit. It was thrown out. So women all sued. The women that have been working on this, I think it's equal means equal, are the women that have been working on this.
Yeah.
And in court, a judge told these women that race is immutable, or is not immutable. Race is not immutable, and therefore there are race-based rights. That sex is immutable, and therefore women have no sex-based rights.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
So basically, women in America are slaves. We're slaves because what humans on the planet have no rights? Slaves and prisoners, people. And I actually have asked Biden out on social media, and I think I might have asked him on video. Not sure. Kind of went off on him in front of the White House. It started with, how dare you? It went from there. I'm mad. I'm mad.
Talking about your project, how is it going when you engage with people in the street? What kind of response do you get? What kind of feedback do you get? How is it on the ground?
Yeah, you're going to love this. America is not on board with the dumb crap. They aren't. The average American, okay, we were in, out in front of the White House. There were a bunch of tourists. And there was a large group of families with kids, little kids, teenagers, and adults. It was a pretty good group, about 20 people maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
The little kid said, what does her sign say? And so Bryn turned around and said, it says, woman, noun, adult, human, female. And of course, I'm not going to blow the opportunity. So I just kind of stepped up and said, the reason that we are doing this today is because the word woman is being redefined to include men. And by doing that, men are being, what I told them was that women are being locked in a cage with convicted rapists. Americans are being tortured on American soil. These are not soldiers that are trained for torture. These are simply women that many of them are in prison because they were pimped out by men.
Yeah.
Where they had nothing, and so they stole to feed a baby or something. They're not violent offenders. There was a woman in California that tried to kill herself.
In a prison.
They put her in a cell with a dude, and she said, please don't do this. Please don't do this. And they handcuffed her. And they put her in disciplinary segregation and treated her like she was a violent objector or whatever the heck they called it. And she tried to kill herself. Because honestly, what other choice did she have?
I know. Yeah.
This is torture, people. And it is not okay.
No, it's not okay. And I mean, again, going back to transitioning young girls, we're talking about, you know, gender non-conforming young girls are very, very vulnerable. We're talking about a group of young women who experience a lot of trauma. We know there are links with autism. It's absolutely scandalous what they are doing. Absolutely. Are you okay? Yeah.
The thing is, in America, we're supposed to have something called separation of church and state.
Do you?
So what that means is that a few, years back, they told the Christians, you can't pray in school anymore. And they said the same thing to every other religion. You can't bring your religion into school anymore. So what these guys did is they came under the guise of the civil rights movement by glomming onto the LGBT. They have nothing in common with us. They're crazy.
Yeah, and it is a religious belief. It's a kind of cult. Absolutely. Yeah.
It is a religious belief in a gendered soul. And I actually dubbed them the first fundamental church of all gendered souls, because that's what they are.
It is exactly what they are. Yeah, yeah.
And what they have done is they have allowed this religious belief, and actually it is a cult. I was in a cult. I recognize a cult when I see one. They use all of the cult tactics, the redefining words so they mean something else. The mantras. They actually posted up on Yaw's ministry building or something, huge projection that says, repeat after me.
Yes.
Trans women are women. And so then they're chanting.
Yeah,
Trans women
the repetition, exactly. Yeah.
They
the
have
threats, the violence, all this is, if it was real, they wouldn't have to do that,
That. But the bottom line is that what we are doing is, in America, we're sending our children to school expecting them to be learning math, history, science. And instead, they're being indoctrinated into the belief that they can be born in the wrong body. Who does that to a kid? Good grief. I read recently, this blew me away. I don't know if you know what a packer is. I didn't. But I found out that they have packers the size that fit diapers.
Yes.
So we're talking 1 and 2 years old, maybe 2.5.
I know, it's sickening. There is no justification for this whatsoever. It's impossible to justify that.
The only justification that they have is that they are greedy, and they are making trillions on the broken bodies of our children.
Absolutely.
There is so much money behind this. That's how they got so far. I personally feel they trained for this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's really important to highlight the capitalist aspect of this, because it's not just an ideology, it's an industry that makes a huge amount of money. You are absolutely right, including the surgery, the clinic that you come and protest. I wanted to ask you if you managed to get any press. I saw that you had there was an article in Philadelphia that covered your controversial ride.
Yeah, that was cool. And we're working on other interviews. Benjamin Boyce will be getting together with us,
right,
next Thursday at some point, when we get off the road. It's hard to run these interviews when you're running traffic on 2 wheels.
I know. That's the beauty of the live, isn't it?
I'll be honest. I'll ask you all. I don't care who your higher power is. I'm personally into God. That's my thing. But whoever your higher power is, pray for us, because, we own 2 bulletproof hoodies, and the hood is bulletproof too. And I really want for the 2 girls that joined me to wear those, because they're only 27 and 26. I'm 61. People have tried to kill me all my life. I don't care.
Yeah.
But what they don't realize out there probably is that that's not the most dangerous part. The most dangerous part of this is that right there. That bike. That's the dangerous part. We are flying. Okay, put it this way. 2 days or 3 days ago, I'm on a timetable. I cannot just pull off. So I'm flying through the rain at 70 miles an hour with bumper traffic going through Winston-Salem and Richmond both. By the time I got off the bike, my hands were shaking. You know?
Yeah.
That's the dangerous part. Riding through these city streets, come down, there's potholes everywhere, crazy drivers. That's the dangerous part.
Yes, it's a dangerous word altogether. I wanted to ask you, what is your next? What's your next stop? Where are you going next?
New
And
York City.
New York, yeah. You're not going to tell us what you're going to do because you don't want to warn them, but I'm sure you've got plans there.
Every city we go to, we protest at the, pediatric gender clinic.
Okay.
And Joy, oh my goodness, she is perfect because see, I'm just the hothead. I'm just a pissed off witch duck that just said enough, and that's kind of how I carry myself, you know. I'm just angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry at what they're doing.
That's the drive, you know. You really have this drive and this energy that I really wanted everybody to see.
Well, I tell you, I got it. I'm gonna sit on the ground because my knee hurts. The anger and the agony. This whole ride started because I was sitting on my mountain. I'm a hermit. I'm an artist and a priestess. That's who I am. I sit on the side of a mountain and I paint and I teach people to paint. And one day I was looking at these pictures of these beautiful young women, and there were before and after shots, before and after supposedly success stories. And all that was underneath all of these women was a number. Number 426, number 253. They're not people. No. They're numbers. And what I noticed from looking at these pictures was that every single one of those women either had breasts that men would sexualize beyond all reason and just never let them alone, or they had breasts that men would make fun of because they weren't that perfect shape that they assume all women's breasts are supposed to be. This is not a civil rights movement. It is a self-hate movement. That's what it is.
Do you have a message you want to send to other feminists, other activists, other lesbians to kind of get them into action, you know, get them to do something? What would you advise to somebody who's pissed off, angry, but doesn't really know what to do, how to do it?
Well, honestly, I just looked around, and what I realized was that the average American on the street has no idea. None. They may think they have a little bit of an understanding of it, but really all they think it is basically the same thing as LGBT rights. And so they're like, oh, it's LGBT rights. We better go with it. And that's the trans identified people. They did that on purpose. You know, Big Pharma is not stupid.
Nope.
They glom onto race. They glom onto DSDs. They glom onto LGBTs. They basically appropriate every civil rights movement that exists because they're not one. They don't have a civil rights movement.
No.
They're a cult.
Men have already all the rights. There's no more rights that they can get except ours, and this is what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they have all the rights. All the rights everybody else has. They want privilege. That's what they want, and they have it.
Yes, but they want extreme privilege, right?
People on the planet. And yet they're trying to tell us that they're oppressed. When you can make whole governments bend a knee and kiss your ass, you are not oppressed.
Exactly. Now, I really have to say, when I look at your project, I'm really, really impressed because, and I find some of our own energy that we have here, like, you know, what do we do when we don't have necessarily a lot of time, not necessarily a lot of money? You know, you've got a bike, boom. You know, you do a ride.
Well, actually, I did not have that bike. I bought that bike with an accident settlement. I was almost killed a couple of years ago in an accident. It put screws in my knee and my foot, and kind of crushed the ribs. But I lived through it. And I took the money from that and bought that bike because I did not have a bike that would make the trip.
Mm.
I have, well, between the two of us, Joy and, oh my goodness, and that's not even counting our videographer, Zeta. Joy used her life savings to buy a motorcycle to join me because she knew I couldn't do it alone, that it would kill me. Then her bike went down. The fuel system freaked out. It was not able to be fixed in time. And we were kind of bummed out about it. But we figured out that it really worked for the best because with my disabilities, it helps for her to take some of the time off of the bike. If I get in too much pain, I can pull over and say, it's your turn, baby. And she'll jump on that bike, ride it for an hour. I'll take pain meds. By the time she's done, I can get back on the bike again.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm living on energy drinks.
Excellent.
I am, because I'm not getting enough sleep. So we're going to be working on that. We may slow things down a bit because we have been moving.
Yeah.
You know, we've been city after city after city. But it's the East Coast. As we go across the country, we'll slow up. Now, what other people can do, back to circle around, because I do have ADHD. So let's circle back. What other people can do? Well, one thing they can do is show up. When we hit your city, show the heck up.
Yes, I was going to ask, how can we support? So when Skylar is at a place, go and see her. So next time you're in New York City women turn up. Yes, that's how you can support. Huh?
Sorry about the noise.
That's fine.
City streets. The other thing is we've been raising money. We raised enough to get on the road. We raised enough to get massive posters made. Fabulous. We raised enough to get 1,600 flyers printed that we are just papering across the country.
Amazing.
So here's the thing. We have links on our website to those posters, to the PDF files or PNG files.
Yep.
I have found that printers like the PDF files best.
Yep.
If you are in a city that the ride is not coming to, go to our website, download those posters, print those bad boys, and plaster them everywhere.
Do it yourself, yes. Yeah.
You know, that's a way that you can participate even if you can't get here.
Absolutely.
The other way you can participate is we have merchandise that we sell. We only get 50% of that, but it does represent.
Yep.
It represents. And that's kind of like why I'm wearing this today.
You are a powerful lesbian, no doubt.
Represent the fact that lesbians exist. We are simply women that have no time and no inclination to be around men. We love women. Yeah. Our whole focus is women. And what men cannot understand is that it is not about them. It's not about them.
They think, oh, a bit worried, yes, about that.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. And what I have seen is that so many men, and you know, you're going to get the not all men. Duh, not all men. We all know that. But let's say most men. Let's keep this simple.
Let's keep this up that it's enough men to be a problem for most women. So there you go.
Right. Well, most of them don't like to be told no. One time I was 17. There was a 35-year-old man. He wanted to have sex with me. And I said no. He was giving me a ride home in his car. He put his car in a ditch. Put it in the car, and it was a nice car. Landed that sucker right in a ditch. And I was 17. I got out the car, tucked my head in, laughed my ass off. I slammed the door and walked the rest of the way home. Because it cracked me up. I'm like, you dummy. Just because I told you no? Come on, people. Yeah. The problem is that women are considered, especially America. I don't know about everywhere else, but in America, we are property.
It's the same everywhere else, you know.
Property. I noticed, because when I came out, being at 58, I had been married for 28 years to my best friend in life. It was the hardest thing I ever did because I knew it would change the dynamic. It would have to. And actually, that almost killed me. It was so hard, so painful. But love does win. Real love. Not the shit these people are trying to pawn off on us. Love is love and then threaten us with rape. No, that's not love, people. That's not love. You know,
I mean, yeah, you know, the fact that men cannot accept that lesbians say no, that they actually say they're lesbians to actually force lesbians to have sex with them. That says it
Oh,
all. And I think
huh.
it's really fair to say a lot of women, straight or not, actually understand what's going on here. It's pretty obvious because most women have been coerced, lesbians or not, and I find that this is really true that women figure that
You
out
know the
pretty
reason.
quickly.
Oh God, fuck, lost my thought. I do that a lot. I lose my
That's
thought.
okay.
It's so bad.
That's okay.
Um,
We're gonna close it quite soon, but I just wanted to say that yes. How can we support you? So turn up at the ride where Sky is
donate, even if it's $5. $5 will get me a good
and
60.
donate. Yes, buy the merchandise, represent, support financially as we need flyers, etc.,
Because
etc.
we're literally, and we are very. I know that there were some problems with some organizations recently that were not completely transparent with their financials, and I learned a lesson watching that fiasco. And the bottom line is, we are so transparent.
Good.
We are keeping immaculate receipts. Every cent that someone sends us either goes to gas,
Mm-hmm.
food,
Food. Yeah.
or supplies like posters.
Yeah.
And right now we're in the gas logic at food station. And I'll tell you, yesterday I was really grateful for whoever donated the money that bought my lunch because I really needed it. I was so tired. It was so hot.
Yeah.
And Baltimore streets are crap.
Mm.
I'm shaking like a leaf,
Yeah.
because I'm no different from anyone else. I'm an old lady that's disabled. I am mentally, emotionally, and physically disabled. I have PTSD so badly that the judge laughed when she gave it to me because she asked, well, can you remember what caused it? And I'm like, really? Seriously? And I
It's
just
so
went off.
important you're saying that. It's so important you're saying that. There is no different kind of women. We just do with what we have and the situation we're in. Absolutely. I really recognize myself in what you
Everybody
say.
needs to understand that you may not feel like you are capable of fighting because of whatever. Say your health is so bad. Like for me, I couldn't get out of bed for a year and a half. I was an invalid. But I could get on the internet. I could get on the telephone. I can call a senator, call your senators,
Mm-hmm.
Email your senators, call your senators, talk to them, because every one of us, they equate to like 50 people. You know how they do with their stat type thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not political. I don't understand any of it. But I do know that when you call them, they understand that for every person that calls, there's probably 10 to 50 that didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Represent, speak
Yeah.
up. I know
Be
it's
that
scary.
woman. Be that woman. Absolutely.
Oh, and I'd love to make a call out to all the lesbian celebrities in America.
Louder, louder for the for the one that can't hear.
Megan Rapinoe, you're a traitor, lady. If the men were in your sports when you came up, yeah, you wouldn't be a prodigy. You wouldn't even be able to play because those men would be playing instead.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, turn your stance around. You are wrong here. Get the men out of women's sports. I can't believe that you, as a lesbian, would do that.
I know. It's shocking.
And Ellen DeGeneres, you've got a platform. Are you scared to lose it? Is that the problem? Your lesbian sisters are being raped. Your lesbian sisters are being butchered every day. Every day that we don't stop this, hundreds of girls in our country that are lesbians are losing their healthy body parts, and they're losing their singing voice, and it's irreversible. Oh, and they're having to have total hysterectomies because they take testosterone and it atrophies their freaking uterus. And so they're putting these young girls into early menopause. I've been through menopause, people. It is hell.
Mm.
It is not for children. It's hard enough on a 45-year-old woman that loses all her parts because of cancer or whatever, tumors.
Yeah.
Oh, Oprah. Hello, Oprah. Yeah, you platformed lies. You platformed lies. You gaslighted America. Oprah, how could you? Interview me. interview a lesbian.
Exactly. I mean, it's very true that we are absolutely raised what we're doing. That's why we are trying to, you know, just give the platform that we have, because
We need to raise
the
awareness.
mainstream
We
media is
need
not doing
platforms.
it. And on that note, so I'm going to let you go and have a rest because you've just arrived. I hope you were nice and comfortable in the shade here on the pavement. Thank you so much for giving us your time and your energy. It was really an honor to have you there. The original bikes on dikes on bikes. I'm getting
I'm
hot
gonna
as
go,
well.
baby. Oh, and my hair is green
Yeah.
because this young, beautiful girl that is sort of trans-identifying, that our host knew, and I just love that woman to pieces. 17-year-old, brilliant artist. Her hair was bright green, and all I could think was, "Yo, dude, hook me up." You know.
That's why.
But what I got a kick out of is that we had so much in common. You know, so much in common.
Yeah.
Most of these girls, all they are is girls that want to ride a bike. They want to wear clothing for men. You know, they want to play football like I did. They want to box like I did. I threw knives. I had a blast. I was, you know, camped all the time, hiked all the time, climbed trees, built forts, built tree houses. I wasn't a boy, people. I wasn't a boy.
You still not are, and they are not. And they are not. Thank you
We're
so
just kidding.
much. Thank you so
And I think
much.
we should change it from transgender to transsexual when we're talking about our children,
Yes, yes,
because
definitely.
that makes the point that we are sexualizing our children. They're sexualizing children, people. That's a pedophilia move.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
All right, my love. Well, thank you so much again. And
I am grateful to
keep
you.
the strength, lesbian power, and we'll be in touch for the
Thank
future.
you so much for giving us a
Well
voice.
done. Lots of
Thank
love.
you.
Bye.
Bye.